And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to something a little bit different, something a little bit special. Welcome back to the 2026 GSL Season 1 qualifiers. I'm, of course, your host, ZvT. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players and by the people in the chat as well. Welcome, one and all, to something a little bit special because it's been quite some time since we've had a live broadcast of the GSL qualifiers. We, of course, for the past couple of years, have been covering GSL, but via replays. Usually it's via replays, usually it is after the fact as well. So again, these quote-unquote live broadcasts of the GSL qualifiers, it's been a very long time since that has ever happened, and we have the luxury of covering them here and now. Bearing in mind, of course, that unlike our usual broadcasts, we are live purely on Soup. Usually we're live on Twitch, on YouTube, on other platforms, but here for GSL exclusively, just like GSL CK, exclusively we're live here on Soup. VODs will be available at a later date over on YouTube. Bear that in mind in regards to our VOD content, but otherwise we're here, we're live, and we're getting ready for our qualifying matches. As a heads up, the qualifier is currently underway, and bam, let's catch up on some of the groups themselves. Let's go. Let us catch up. As you can see here from the top, this is Group A. So Group A has been unfolding as we speak. As you can see here, Hero, he took down Gumiho 2-1. Gumiho took down sort of 2-0 as well. So here, he's the first player to make it through into a qualifying match. Bearing in mind that this round here, round 3, these are qualifying matches. From here on forward, once you get into the semis, these games are not played. These games are not played out. Instead, you have to make it to this place, to this semi-finals, I should say, to the upper bracket finals, to be able to qualify for the second round. Bearing in mind there are layers to the GSL qualifier, but this will allow you to qualify for GSL, but we will have some seeding matches to be able to make it through and be seeded directly into Group Stage 2. True. So there are going to be seeding matches later on. That is going to be the case. For now, though, again, we do have our current matches underway. Hero took down Gumiho 2-1 to face off against Rogue in the next round. Rogue took down Zaun 2-0. Zaun gets knocked down. Bearing in mind, as you can see, there's a lower bracket. There is lower brackets, so if you see players being knocked down, do not fret. They have chances to redeem themselves and to advance on forward. Scrolling down here, we do have Percival. Percival takes down Bjorn 2-0. No surprises there. Percival has had a winning record versus Bjorn. If you've not been watching StarCraft over the past 2 months, then you might not have seen it, but Percival has been beating Bjorn on a regular basis in online tournaments. Solo likewise takes down Nightmare 2-1. So these are going to be our upcoming qualifying matches. Hero versus Rogue and Percival versus Solar. We will be covering these matches momentarily. Do not worry, do not fret, we'll be there. Scrolling down a little bit further, we have Gumiho. Gumiho, he does advance on the face against Zaun, but Gumiho is the first big name to be knocked out of the GSL qualifiers. Straight up, Gumiho's out. Gumiho, he is the weakest link here. Gumiho, if you've been watching StarCraft over the past couple of months, you would know that you've not been watching Gumiho because Gumiho has not been active. Gumiho has been very inactive over these past couple of months. So Gumiho, he is the least in form out of all these players. So Gumiho is out of GSL. Zaun is waiting for his next opponent. Meanwhile, we have Nightmare is up against sort of. Winner goes up against Bjorn in the next round as well. So we do have those matches currently ongoing. This is merely only Group A. We also have Group B. Group B is also ongoing as well. Bear that in mind. Again, as you can see here, when it comes to Group B, we do have Maru. Maru, he took down SOS 2-0 to face off against Shin. Shin took down Trigger. So we have Maru versus Shin in the qualifying match. We have Cure. Cure takes down Bunny 2-1. Classic takes down Ryung. And we have Cure versus Classic in a qualifying match as well. So we have our matches that are currently underway. Scrolling down, do we have any big results yet? The answer is no. We have Ryung versus Bunny and Trigger versus SOS. This is Group B. Again, there are two groups, Group A and Group B. If you don't see any of your favorite players, and if they're not in either of these groups, then they're not playing in the qualifier. So this is, I guess, soft confirmation of someone like, say, DRG. DRG, we haven't had like official confirmation that he's retired, but DRG has been absent for quite some time and he's not here in this qualifier. So that's like an example of a player that is not competing here. He's not competing, he's not active at the moment, which is a bit of a shame, of course. It feels bad, man. Feels bad, man. But otherwise, there are other players, other amateur up-and-coming Koreans that aren't a part of this event as well. You might be curious. Honmono, Prome, for example, 3-Point, not quite Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry isn't quite active nowadays. Luna C, for example. True, Luna C. Perceive. The reason for this is because there is a new criteria for competing in the GSL qualifier, and that is you have to be streaming. So if you want to compete in GSL, you have to stream on Soup. There is a requirement to be an active streamer, to be an active competitor on the Soup platform, to be able to be eligible to compete in the GSL qualifiers. That's why we're missing some players like Hon Mono or like 3 Points, like Lunacy, at least for example, as they are not actively streaming. Just catching up with the chat. The loser of Trigger versus SO is eliminated? Yes. Those all bracket matches are elimination matches. So far, kind of the first big name that has been eliminated is Gumiho. He's out of GSL, and again, we still have more upcoming matches to come to remove some players. Now, bearing in mind as well that this is merely kind of round 1 of the qualifier. There is going to be a second round of the qualifier, and again, those are mainly going to be seeding matches. As I mentioned before, these top players are going to be qualifying for GSL, but some of these players will be able to skip the first group stage and make it straight into group stage 2. So there are going to be like round 2 seeding matches as well, just like last season. Last season was the same thing. Just as a heads up. But otherwise, we are currently waiting for matches to be available. Up first should be Cure versus Classic, followed by Solo versus Percival, Hero versus Rogue, and Maru versus Shin. We'll be going through the qualifying matches one after the other. We'll be going through those matches just as a heads up. As there's going to be a lot of matches, a lot of StarCraft, a lot going on. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of matches. Otherwise, if you want to tune into some of the other matches that are ongoing, Inu, he's going to be casting in Korean, and Inu will be able to provide you some Korean coverage, of course, as well. Este Inu. We are going to be live here in English. Going to be live in English. And I did just want to go through all of that while we could. Oh, and I did just mention that we were going to be jumping into Cure versus Classic, but it looks like we might have another series available first, actually. Again, we have four matches that are going to be upcoming. There's going to be Cure versus Classic, Solo versus Percival, Hero versus Rogue, and Maru versus Shin. But we might have our first match available soon here. Oh boy. I'm alluding to Solo versus Percival. I think that's gonna be our first series. First series, man. Just waiting on whichever one becomes available first. Just waiting on it. But otherwise, hope you've all had a great time, of course. Hope you've all been enjoying your week of play. There have been other kind of things that have been happening in StarCraft as of recently. I think it was as of yesterday, replays were broken, which is a little bit unfortunate. Thankfully, the GSL qualifiers are happening today after the fact. Yeah, there's been a bit of an uproar on social media about that. It does mean that a lot of our usual casts that we have scheduled ahead of us, we might have to reschedule or remove entirely, just because we had a bunch of like replay casts coming up, like StarCraft Evolution League, for example, or Thermal's 2v2 circuit. So there's going to be a bunch of rescheduling moving forward, assuming that the replays stay broken. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. I think the saddest thing about that is that we did just host a tournament featuring all of the new TLMC maps, and I'm sure a lot of people are really excited to see those replays and see those maps as well. We won't be able to quite show that off. So a bit of a feels bad, man. Otherwise, of course, you want to support this event, you want to support the GSL, you can do so via Patreon. GSL, they have their own Patreon, and they currently have a bunch of stretch goals for the upcoming season of GSL. Bearing in mind that Season 1 of GSL is fully funded, Season 2 of GSL is also fully funded as well, but if you want to support a Season 3 of GSL, that's where Patreon comes into play. Likewise, GSL CK is currently a monthly event, but if we do reach higher and higher stretch goals, then GSL CK will become a bi-monthly event, which means twice a month. Twice a month we will be having that event as well. Just as a heads up. Oh, where's created? True, my apologies. I just realized. In my mind, I just assumed. I just assumed that that we had everyone of notes. but you're correct. In the chat, where's Creator? Yeah, Creator's not, he's not in the qualifier. Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, that's a shame. We got a lot of love for Creator here. We know that Creator, he can be very down at times, and he does take some losses quite hard. But yeah, with Creator not being here, oof, that does say something. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. So as we were alluding to, there's a higher chance that the Creator is looking to step away. Yeah, it's a shame for sure. It's a shame. But here we go. We're jumping into our next series. If you notice any other player, then let us know. But I think, like, looking at the lineups here, I think it is only Creator that's missing out of like the big like notables, right? The big like established players. I think it is just Creator, and I guess like DRG. But like we already assumed that DRG was going to be stepping away. But that is a big shame. But again, if you want to support GSL, if you want to support these players, Patreon is the place to be, as we have our first game available. Let's go. We're jumping into our first series. We're jumping into our first qualifying match. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran. It is Percival. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the teal Zerg player, the teal Zerg player himself. It is Solar. We go. We're jumping into our best of 3. We're jumping into our qualifying match. Here we go. I do apologize. Originally, we were going to be covering Cure versus Classic, but we'll be holding on to that until a little bit later, as we don't currently have that available, but we have our ZvT. Oh boy. Coming into this, we are... Whoa, wait, what? What? We're getting into Ruby Rock. Ruby Rock is known for aggression, shorter rush distance by ground, so aggression is often favored here, especially in the mid-game. Percival going for the low ground depot, though. Very odd move that I've not seen before. Very interesting. As a result of that, the wall off on the high ground is going to be delayed. Bear that in mind. I guess technically we'll have some extra SimCity here on the low ground instead. And yeah, this is an interesting choice here. Okay, show us what you got. Again, the one thing this does do is that it does create a wall off here with your own natural expansion when it comes to trying to maintain defenses early on here on your 2-base setup. And I guess that'll be an easier position to maintain instead of trying to wall off this entrance into the natural instead. I'm just trying to like rationalize like why we would even set this up, and we'll see if we even complete this wall. Right, if we complete it and if we lock this down, it would make more sense. Or even just having the depot here, I guess, does allow you to place units like in between your buildings. But yeah, I have not seen this before. Curious, Pappy, curious. Like, it does reduce surface area. SV scatter across map confirms it was a hatch cast pool. Standard opener out of Solar, nothing crazy, nothing wild. Standard opener. I did mention that aggression is favored on this map, but that's typically in the mid game, right? Typically like 2-3 base play is what we look for. As SV does turn back around, third base is not being taken, Reba does poke in, and the third should be safe. Third should be safe and sound. Reba does poke in, dancing with the Zerglings. With good enough control, these lings should not go down, as the Queen does pop. Queen does pop, but does earn back the Reaper. So far, so good. Behind this third CC before Starport, economic build out of Percival. It's being economic. And from here, we're just building up into the mid-game. Now, when it comes to our players here and what they're known for, Percival, if you've been watching him as of late, I mean, hey, just look down beyond 2-0. Percival, he's known for his aggression, he's known for his multitasking. I would say that Percival is a very fast player. He's a very fast player and he thrives when it comes to mid-game multi-prong aggression, referring to like double drop on the top side, double drop on the south side, main push through the center. At Percival, he's usually all over the place, and even players like Solar can have a hard time keeping up with the speed of Percival. That is where he does typically thrive, especially if he's not forced to defend, right? If he's able to gain map control and be active on the map, that is where Percival's strengths do lie. Meanwhile, from the side of Solar, we've been seeing a lot of cheeky builds. We've been seeing a lot of 2-base Hydra, a lot of fast lair into fast Hydra play, into a commitment into Hydra tech, into delayed banelings has been the go-to for Solar in ZvT for quite some time, for like the past couple of months, I would say. So we'll see if Solar embraces that at some point in this series. Meanwhile, Viking first. Interesting. Overlord Scout comes in. Usually you skip the Viking, go for the add-on swap in a Banshee play, but here we keep the tech lab on the ranks. Vikings in production to shut down the Overlord, to deny vision, and we'll see if we go into a delayed add-on swap or if we go for earlier stim. Meanwhile, Roach Warren. Early Roach Warren out of Solar does make sense. We mentioned earlier here how Ruby Rock does favor aggression, and something that is quite common on this map is Roach aggression and Roach all-ins in the mid-game of a 3-base economy. So eyes are on Solar to see if he does commit into Roaches, if he does not join up his 4th base. As Hellions, they threaten the dive. Queens, they hold their own. So far, so good. Behind this, we do have no add-on swap. So Viking first to hunt down Overlords in towards Stim. So Stim is on the way, no add-on swap in a Banshee play. Now, without any Banshees, this does mean that Percival is vulnerable to Roach all-ins. Usually, a Banshee-based opener means that you can get free damage on the Roaches and the Ravagers with your Banshees. But Solar knows. Solar, he knows that there's no Banshee play, and without Banshees, this Roach all-in could kill. And we are going for the all-in. Lings are amassing, Roaches are amassing. Solar, he does not join up his 3rd base, only 8 workers, half saturation at the 3rd. Hellions, they've rotated to the south side, and here comes the army of Solar. Yeah, so Solar, he's all in. He's just completely all in. And Percival, he hasn't scouted. He doesn't know. Yeah, he does not know. He rotates over to the top side. Percival, he spots the Roaches. Now he knows. Yeah, he does spot the Roaches. Now he's aware. Back across the map, we have no bunker. Yeah, no bunker setup. Stim is almost done. Tank production still underway. And again, no Banshees. Oh, Littlelings are being thrown away here. They're nibbling away at the wall. Roach is pushing forward. Again, it's all about breaking down that wall. And the eBay is going to fall. Not enough repairs. Not enough repairs. eBay is going to go down. Roach is a bust into the natural. No bunker. No defensive setup. No tanks. No nothing. And that's just, yeah, that's just game. I mean, that's, there's nothing here. There's nothing here. No, there's one tank. It's going to get surrounded. Lings, they bust into the main base. They get a full surround. GG gets called, and Solar takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. A very cheeky build here by Solo, going for the all-in, cutting workers at half saturation at the 3rd base, so very low drone count, went for Ling Roach all-in, and unfortunately Percival took him a long time to realize what was going on. Likewise, we had a really unique build from Percival going into earlier stim, but that meant that there was no Banshee play either, so limited scouting, limited information, limited units to defend with as well. Sure, he had a bunch of Hellions, but Hellions, they do nothing against Roaches, right? Hellions, they tickle Roaches, and they got shut down out on the map. Of course, they got caught, and with that, Solar takes the lead. From here, we're going to be loading into game number 2. Un momento. Going to be loading into Tourmaline. Let's go. So we're jumping into that second game. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the blue Terran player. We have the blue Terran himself. We have the South Korean Terran down in the series, and we'll see if he can bounce back and make a series out of this. It is a Percival. And spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have the teal Zerg player, the teal Zerg player himself. It is Solar. Let's go. Let us go. So again, Solar coming to the all-in, catching Percival with his pants down. The pants were down, and alas, he was exposed. Now we're loading into game 2, this time much more standard start, but welcome to Tourmaline. If you thought that Ruby Rock favored aggression, and it does, Tourmaline favors aggression even further. The rush distance by ground is even shorter, and the attack path is very direct. From natural, all the way to natural, right? So very short rush distance, very open areas as well. Open area here outside of the natural, open area here outside of the third base, open area here outside of the fourth. It's just a very open map, even here in the center as well. Because of that, there are less defensive positions. There's no high ground advantage, for example, or choke points to take advantage of, or points of elevation, or again, like tall grass or rocks that you can knock down. Like it's just often short games, often very short games here on Tourmaline. And we'll see who's going to be the aggressor. Oh boy. Now, because of the roach all-in that we saw in Game 1, we imagine that Solo's going to deviate and go for something a little bit different here in Game 2. I did allude to the fact that Solo's very fond of going to Hydra-heavy play, but that's usually on standard maps. That's usually on Winter Madness or larger maps like White Rabbit, for example. Like, that's typically where we lean towards Hydra play. On some larger maps like Mothership, for example, we can start talking about Muta play as well. Here on Tourmaline, I feel like roaches they have to be a must anyway, though. Like, roaches can be a very powerful tool defensively even as well. Eyes are on Solar. But now, ranks expand, standard opener, likewise Hatchcats pull out of Solar. Everything's looking normal so far. Well, look at normal. Reaper does move out. Does move out, does threaten the mineral line, so far just poking away at the Lings. And again, the Lings, they should not go down. Queen pops out just in time, and the Reaper is going to be zoned away. Behind this, third CC. Third CC before Starport, same build. Same opener specifically. Same opener as last game. This doesn't have to be the same build. For this time, we could see Banshee play. Once again, Banshee play is just very safe. It's very, very safe. It allows you to harass. It allows you to defend as well. So we should be seeing Banshees this time. I'll be surprised if we see Viking first. That would be a surprise. There we go. My favorite photos from the big days of StarCraft II. Oh no, feels bad, man. Feels bad. So chat, why are we watching replay instead of live? Technically, this is as live as we can get. We are, as always, GSL replays or GSL qualifiers are never casted live. And for this event, we're casting it with almost a 15-minute delay, or basically to not delay the kind of the brackets and to not disrupt the players or anything like that. It is the mandate from Soup that the matches are played without any observers or anything of that nature, and the players submit their replays, and as soon as the series is done, bam, we can cast. So that's why we were waiting for Classic versus Cure. This series did finish faster though. So basically, as soon as the series is done, bam, we get the replays, and bam, we can cast. But no one is able to cast it live, and no one has been able to cast GSL qualifiers live for, like, what, 6 years? If you're a little bit new to StarCraft, you might not know that. You might not be familiar, but yeah, live coverage of GSL qualifiers has not been a thing for a very, very long time. I think since pre-COVID. I think pre-COVID there was like 1 year where no regret, where Jake he did do like a live cast. Like from the venue of GSL qualifiers. I think that would have been like 2018, maybe. Like 7 years ago, 8 years ago. But for now, Percival does poke in. This time, no Banshee play once again, but opening up Raven. Okay, Esther Percival. Going for a Raven-based opener. Meanwhile, Lings, they do get across the map. They will threaten the third base. And behind this, we do have a Lair first out of Solar. This time, no Roach Warren. Yeah, no Roach Warren. Sorry, I should say Banshee into Raven. Sorry, I was a little bit distracted going through the history of GSL qualifiers. That is going to be 3 drones going down. Hellions, they threaten the third base. Queens are keeping up. So far, minimal losses, but not bad. 3 drones for the Banshee, not bad at all. And again, the Raven follow-up is an interesting choice. Lings, they do punish at the same time, 2 SCV kills, so a bit of a back and forth here in terms of the early game, dealing economic damage. And there it is, there is that Hydra Den. Do you remember what we said at the start of the series? We spoke about how Solar, over the past couple of months, has been very fond of going into Hydras and skipping Banelings, going for delayed Baneling production, and you can see here, +1 range is on the way. Now, if you remember, at the start of this game, I said that I typically expect this on larger maps like Winter Madness, so it's a little bit of a surprise to see this here on Tourmaline. So we'll see if Solo can pull this off. So we're going to be hitting our 1-1 timing, Mass Hydra, delayed Banelings. It's going to be a very heavy Hydra-based army. Things are deflected. Queens so far, they're keeping up. So far, they're able to keep over the Hellions. That's always a big investment into Hellions. We have the Raven alongside this as well. Solar, he does hold the line. Hydras are amassing. And again, Solar, he wants to hit that Hydra timing. He wants it. It's on the horizon. So far, Hellions still being active. Percival securing his 3rd. He does secure. There's that delayed Baneling nest. So far, Solar's done a great job when it comes to holding on until then, without Banelings. Oof. KDA charge on the Queens out of position. So far, the Queens do hold on. Here come those Hydras. Heavy supply block for Solar, though. 8 Overlords in production. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, now is not the time. But he was heavily supply blocked. Bio Army's pushing in. Solar, he's still massing out more Ling Hydra. And the base is going to go down. Yeah, the base will fall. We cannot engage at the same time. Helly's able to into the mineral line. He gets in. Yeah, Percival gets in. Drone's getting roasted. Link's going to this around, but that's going to be 8 drones falling. And the 4th expansion. So far, so good. So far, so good. We did speak on this. How Solar was trying to hold on without any Banelings, but he barely could not. Economy is crippled. Base goes down. Does take down both tanks at least. Both tanks do fall, but Solar, he's missing his timing. Remember, he wanted to hit with 1-1. Was going for a strong timing. He does miss it. A Baneling speed now begins, and we're building up into a longer and later game. Oof. Percival, he has momentum. Double jump on the south side. Main push to the center. Oh. Catching up some queens. 1, 2, 3, 4. Queen. Oh my god. He gets every queen for free. Catching out all the queens. Perking at the 3rd base. Del's breaking to the 3rd. Behind this, we're just rallying across the map, getting a 4th command center. We spoke about this at the start of the series, how Percival, he thrives when he doesn't have to defend. He thrives when he has map control, when he's applying pressure, when he's just all over the Zerg, and we're seeing that here and now. Where Solar has been struggling to keep up. Now double jump into the main base. Reinforcements, they hit the center. Percival moving further in. Oh, the Overlords. Yeah, Raven never extends well within range of the expansion. Hydras that force the fight within range of the tanks, though. Oof. Yeah, nice retargeting. Tanks fixating here on the Hydras. As Hydras are going down. Solar, he will hold though. Yeah, he does hold on. Cleans up the army, forces Percival back. Solar, we're holding, okay? He's holding, he's defending. Retaking his bases. And can Solar stabilize? From here, we're still trying to drone. There's still no creep on the map. There's what, 2 active tumors here, 3 active tumors on the right-hand side. Hive is now on the way. Taking up. Taking up from here. Feel old. I remember like it was yesterday. Oh no. Not like this. According to the Team Unity team house. True, true. Fun fact, no regret, he actually started streaming yesterday. Or he was live yesterday, which was crazy. I think yesterday or the day before. Playing StarCraft. Like it was 2018. But here we go, Percival once again pushing across the map, throwing down 2 more CCs, Jesus, and just an excess of minerals. May have missed some production cycles there. Still on 8 Raxes. Regardless, Percival, he's rallying. Once again, there's just no creep to work with. Hive is not yet done. No Vipers, just purely Lingbane Hydra. Can he break out? Oof. Solar, he's attempting. Yeah, it does attempt to. At the same time, dropping left-hand side. Getting into the mineral line. 4 drones going down. A nice damage. Nice damage so far. Railing's being denied. Things they attempt to flank, they get shut down. GG gets called as Percival. He overwhelms the army, and Percival, he will tie the series 1-1. GG. Whew. GG, well played again. Non-stop pressure here. Percival just denying bases, denying mining, denying the economy, and again, Solar barely unable to hold on against the main push of Percival. Just too much momentum, and especially on Tourmaline, you have so little room to breathe because the map is so small, so congested. Once the ball gets rolling, it's hard to stop. It's hard to stop that, and with that, Percival, he does overwhelm, and we're tied up 1-1. We're going to the ace match. Let's go. Let us go. We're loading into game number 3 here, and we'll see how this story ends. We'll see who will advance on into this season of GSL. Let's go. Let us go. Spawning in the bottom hand corner of White Rabbits, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Blue Terran tying up the series 1-1 and forcing that ace match. It is Percival. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Teal Zerg player, we have the South Korean Zerg, it is Solar. We go. Again, Solar is coming in as the veteran, as the heavy favorite to make it through into GSL, but Percival, he is the younger up-and-comer. He's also been around for quite a number of years, that is true, but specifically over the past 12 months, Percival, he has been excelling, he's been improving, he has been getting better and better results, and it's just been a really impressive rate of improvement for Percival over the past year of play. It's been crazy, baby. It's been crazy. Here we go. And again, Percival, he already took down Beyond to make it this far in the qualifier. Can he break down Solar as well? For now, Hashgas full, stand open out of Solar. Welcome to White Rabbit. What I will say is that White Rabbit is a larger map, longer rush distance by ground. So coming into this, we do see that Solar, he'll have a little bit more room to breathe, to counterattack, to muster up his forces, and to delay Percival. Also, because this map is larger, we mentioned something previously, the likelihood of us going into, say, Muta play is much higher now. To go into Spire, to go into Mutas. I know that Shin is very fond of that style of going into Mutas whenever he can. Solar, he does mix it in every now and then. He's not really too much of a Muta player, but it's going to be in the back of my mind at least. The potential for Spire. Otherwise, his go-to is what we saw last game, rushing into Hydras, right? Going for that 1-1 Hydra timing. That is often what Solar does fall back on. That's what he's most comfortable with in ZvT. But now we're going to be calming down. Every game so far, it has been a third CC before Starport, and we'll see if we go for that again. Percival poking in. Does poke in. Catching out a Zergling. I need Gamba, maybe. True. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. Unfortunately, I don't think that functionality exists here on Suit. It's okay. It's okay. There you go. Now Percival, he's going to be deflected. It's going to be denied, and we have, okay, hello, for the first time in the series, 1-1-1, a hyper aggression out of Percival. As I mentioned previously, game 1 and game 2, we did see a faster third CC, a faster economy, this time a faster starport into something more aggressive. This can lead into an armory, into a Hellbat push. So eyes are on Percival as we go for Reactor Hellion, add-on swap, earlier Banshee play, and eyes are open for an armory. So So Percival does mix it up. Solar currently is unaware. He does have an Overlord here outside of the main. Has yet to go in. Has yet to confirm. Hellions are amassing. Again, just rotating, keeping tabs here on Solar. Attack Lab on the way in the racks. No shot we double down and go into Marauder play. I feel like if the plan was to go for like Hellbat Marauder, would have been seeing a faster tech lab on the racks. But Percival, do we go for the CC? We do. Okay. So it's going to be a delayed command center. It's not a 2-base all-in, but it is hyper-aggressive. Now, because the third CC is so late and so delayed, this does put a lot of pressure on Percival to get damage done with the Banshees. Like, these Banshees, they need to pay for themselves. They need economic damage. Overlord pokes in. Does confirm Stim. Does confirm, oh, the research on the tech lab as well. He sees the cloak. Solar, he knows. Solar, he's fully aware that we go spores are now on the way. Spore in the main, spore here at the third base. No spore at the natural. There is a bit of an opening. There is an opening. Banshee breaks in. Cleric is activated. No spore here at the natural. Not bad. Doesn't eye mining. Gets one. Takes down one, takes down the second drone. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 drone kills. There is no Overseer. Hellies, they attempt to go for the dive. He's going in! He's going for the dive! Oh my god. Casito. Doesn't quite commit. And so far, 5 drones. 5 drones do go down. Not a bad amount of damage. A Banshee does rotate over towards the third base. Spores to reposition. 7 drone kills. 8 drones going down the Banshee. No, the Banshee doesn't get away. I was going to say this is well worth it, but the Banshee does fall. So we do have a bit of a trade instead, a bit of a back and forth. Getting one more drone kill. One more drone. And overall, this was a better trade for Percival. For the most part. I say for the most part. Remember, the third base is late, so there is a bit of a back and forth here. There's a bit of a caveat to the damage being dealt. As Percival, he's going to be stuck on 2 bases a little bit longer. And she's just applying pressure. Hellions coming from behind. Queens are out of position. Ah, they're still Queens. Yeah, still 2 Queens here. Ready for the Hellions. Overseer as well. And no surprises here. We spoke about this in the last game and the start of the series as well. 1-1 Hydras. So it is going to be a Hydra tech here from Solar, going into 1-1 upgrades, going into delayed banelings. So once again, a heavy Hydra composition. As we mentioned previously, this has been the go-to for Solar and ZvT for the past couple of months. And if you watch players like Rogue and Shin, they also incorporate this every now and then as well. They don't rely on it as heavily as Solar, bear that in mind. So Rogue and Shin, they might do this like once in a series. Solar relies on this a lot more. Here we go. Here we go. Percival now going to be pushing. As Percival does stim in. Tanks are within range. Oof. Yeah, tank shots going off. The queens are exposed. Oh no! Oh, we try to transfuse. Yeah, attempts to transfuse. So much DPS though. 1, 2, 3, 4 queens going down. Heavy losses here for Solar. Yeah, bleeding out little queens. Another tank has arrived. And Solar, he's being broken. He's being broken here and now. His Hydra count is not high enough. No, the Hydras aren't high. Yeah, they're going down one after the other. And Percival, he's pushing into the bases. Can he get in? Can he get into the middle line? Gets another queen. Yeah, one more queen goes down. Oof. Lings are coming to reinforce. And Solar, he barely holds on here. Just barely. As Percival, he knows he's so close. He knows he's close to breaking. He's close to breaking Solar. A little bit more. He's almost there. Ooh, queen goes down. There's one more queen. Tank gets targeted. And Percival, he's still just out trading. Yeah, he's overwhelming here. Every Hydra's falling. Stimming across the map. Percival going for the kill. And this is the downside of skipping banelings, right? When you skip banelings, you are vulnerable. There's a window in time pre-banelings where you are vulnerable to aggression. And these Hydras, these are expensive losses for Solar. You can see Solar trying to bait out Sims. Does try to bait them out. As Percival, he's running out of Marine somewhat here. But he just keeps rallying. Yeah, he just keeps on rallying. This time we have tanks. This time we have Liberators. He's getting too much. Siege up, Pappy. Siege up. Yeah, Solo trying to hold on here. Trying to catch up the Minimax. The tanks have sieged. And now there's no shot we can break this. No shot. Not with Freedom. Not with the Liberators. Not with the tanks. Hey, Sims, and he wins. GG gets called. And Percival, he qualifies for GSL. Whew. GG. Ay, 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 papi. GG, well played. Congratulations, Percival. He will claim the series. Now, if you're a fan of Solar, he's not out of GSL, but he's knocked down to the lower bracket. Solar, he's knocked down. Percival, he takes down Beyond. He takes down Solar. Percival is in. Hi, ay, ay. GG, well played. Este Percival. Again, he has been improving so much over time, over the past 12 months, to make it to this point, of course, where he's able to take down a player of the caliber of Solar. Very impressive play here by Percival. He does qualify, does make it through. Congratulations. With this, he'll be advancing on into the second round of the qualifier, but as I mentioned, the second round is a seeding matches. So he's already in. Percival, he's already in GSL, he's already in the round of 12, but he might be able to seed his way into, you know, further rounds, into Group Stage 2. He might be able to. Otherwise, we are getting ready for our next series. Okay, we're getting ready for our next matchup here. We are going to be jumping into. We're going to be jumping into our next matchup. Is going to be a best of 3 between Cure and Classic. If you recall, we were going to be jumping into this series initially. That was going to be our first matchup.